Bashem Ashai Bashem Krakodah Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, "And whosoever shall not receive you, shake off the dust of your feet." So I'm going to let you hear this. I'm going to give you some precepts. It's not going to be too long. Let's see where the Spirit takes me.
I know that. Who you looking for, sword? What I'm asking is, so now you don't want to hear me. I was talking to you, and I was listening to you. Now I'm asking you to listen to me. I was listening to you. Now we here right now. We here right now. We're dying. What y'all talking about?
The Most High.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who ruled well and teach and taught us his truth. Peace and salutation as always to the elect, okay, the Bayath Shal Dawadah, which is the house of David. Okay. And Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and the title of my lesson is "Let the Blood Be Upon Your Own Head." Okay, and as you've seen in this minute clip right here, as we just watched, 58 seconds. Okay, and that's all we need to watch. If you could, this is the Apostle Tahar's, one of his channels. Watch, subscribe, like, and watch, okay, his videos. But it's going to be similar to what he was going into in this video, and I don't want to keep playing it because I get kind of irritated watching, just the same shit you could say with IUIC and what they're doing. And you see right here, it says, when you see this is what a spiritual war look like. And this is not the definition or an example of what a spiritual war looks like. You see, that's not a spiritual war. Two black men, as I can say, arguing. Okay, and I don't even want to know what it's about because it's always about some helping the black community or we're saving the black people or just all types of bullshit. When we're out there, we just need to give them warning. You see, actually, the scriptures talk about Matthew chapter 7 and verse 6. Cast not thy pearls before swine. See, not everybody is going to understand this truth, and not everybody needs to know this. You see, so if you claim you have the 100% truth, this treasure, okay. This ain't for everybody, man. But we're out there to give our people the warning. That's what we're commanded to do. Let's start with Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17, and it says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel," or Yasharallah, which is in the Hebrew, which means he's a prince of power. Okay, all right. It says, "Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me." You see, and this is exactly what we do. We go on the highways and hedges and we give Israel warning from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And that right aligns up with 2 Ezra 15 and 1, where it says, "Behold, speak thou into the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." So it's the Lord's words that are coming out. It's not ours. So all these disputes and debates and whatever it is, because a lot of these guys, they barely bring out the scriptures, man. They bring out whatever's out their own damn mouths. You see, because if they really were going to bring out the scriptures, they could have easily cut those guys and went away. But first of all, they coming in the wrong names. You see, and the second of all, it's always, like I said, it's always about nonsense. Saving the black community. Black people always dying. We're to wake up our people, Israel. And the Lord never told us to do all that, man. This is verse 18. "When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from the wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand." And this is what we don't want. This is why we give them warning from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and then it says, "Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul." And this is exactly why Apostle Paul said in Acts the 18th chapter, we'll start at the fifth verse. It says, "And when Silas and Timotheus came from Macedonia, Paul was pressed in the spirit and testified to the Jews that Yahushua was anointed. And when they opposed themselves and blasphemed, he shook his raiment and said unto them, your blood be upon your own heads. See, why would Apostle Paul say that? Well, one, he was following the scriptures. He was a follower of Yahushua. Okay, Yahushua. But why would he say your blood will be upon your own heads? Because he gave them the warning. He told them. He told them Yahushua is the anointed. They didn't want to believe. They opposed themselves. They blasphemed. So what did he do? He took his raiment and said unto them, your blood be upon your own heads. And that's cold as hell, man. You see, they mock at you. They scoff at you, the people, and you take your raiment, you just walk away. See, that's some cold stuff right there, man. You see, it said unto them, your blood, and then say your blood be upon your own heads. You see, I am clean. You see, he is pure. Okay, that goes right along with back to Ezekiel 3:19. It says, but thou hast delivered thy soul. And that's exactly what we want. This is why we give them warning. Okay, and if they don't want to hear, now their blood be upon their own heads. You see, so this is Acts chapter 18 and verse 6. And when they opposed themselves and blasphemed, he shook his raiment and shook unto them and said unto them, Salakia, and this is likened unto shaking the dust off your feet. You see, it says, your blood be upon your own heads. I am clean. From henceforth I will go unto the Gentiles. Okay. And he departed thence and entered into a certain man's house named Justus, one that worshiped the Most High, whose house joined hard to the synagogue. Okay. And just to make this similar to, he gave them warning, but what? He shook the dust off his feet and said, your blood be upon your own head, because they didn't want to take heed. They didn't want to take the warning. You see, and you can't. And Israel, they, like I said before, they like to come with that nonsense. Oh, we got to wake up our people, Israel. No, the Lord's going to have mercy whom he will have mercy on. As when you get Romans chapter 9 and verse 15, it says, where he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it's not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but the Most High that sheweth mercy. You see, you're not giving them mercy. They think that they're doing this and they're the ones handing out the mercy. No, it's the Lord that hands out the mercy, and he chooses whom he will. Not everybody's going to understand or get it. That's exactly Romans 11:7. What then Israel have not obtained what ye seeketh for, but the election have attained it, and the rest were blinded. Not everybody's going to understand what these scriptures are saying. This is why Yahushua told us to do this if they did not receive our words. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 14. It says, and whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of the house or city, shake the dust off your feet and what? And keep it moving. You see, if they don't get it, they don't understand, they want to try to argue with you, mock, scoff, do whatever it is, try to stone you, shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving. And this just shows you Yahushua letters were authoritative, okay, and that he was a follower of Yahushua, because he did those multiple cases and scenarios where he did what Yahushua commanded us to do when certain things came forth, you know. And let's start with Acts, the 17th chapter, and let's start with Acts 17th chapter. And let's start at the 31st verses. Because he has appointed us a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he hath ordained, whereof he hath given assurance unto all men, and that he had raised him from the dead. Raised who from the dead? Yahushua. It says, and when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked, and others said, we will hear thee again of this matter. So what did Paul do? So Paul departed from among them. You see, this is a certain scenario where they mocked at the message that Apostle Paul was coming forth. And what did Paul do? He departed from among them. Let's get another one. Acts 14, 1-6. 1-6. Okay. And before we get this, I actually want to do this real quick. Okay. Let's see. Stoned Apostle Paul. Slide. Give me 1 second. Let's do this. Stoned Apostle Paul. Understand. Okay, let's try this because there's a. Let's see if this is it. Acts 14:19. And there came thither certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he has been dead. No, this is not the one, but we'll go back to the point where we want to make. Let's get Acts, okay, now 14, and let's start at verse 1. And it came to pass in Iconium that they went both together into the synagogue of the Jews, and so spake that a great multitude both of the Jews and also of the Greeks believed. But the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles and made their minds evil affected against the brethren. Long time therefore abode they, speaking boldly in the Lord, which gave testimony unto the word of his grace, and granted signs and wonders to be done by their hands. But the multitude of the city was divided, and part held with the Jews and part with the apostles. See, so there was division among Israel. Okay, like there's always been division among Israel. Yahushua said, I come not to send peace on earth, but rather division. You see, so we're not here trying to collect all the Israelites to come together, be a one unit. No, we're not doing that. Okay, Yahushua came to bring division upon earth. Okay, it says, and when there was an assault made, both of the Gentiles and also the Jews with their rulers, to use them despitefully and to stone them. So you see, so they were planning on to stone them. What happened? They were aware of it and fled unto Lystra and Deborah, cities of Lycaonia, and onto the region that lieth round about. You see, so what happened when they were planning on stoning them? This was it right here. This is the one I was looking for. What happened when they were planning on stoning them and they were aware of it? They moved on. Remember what happened in Kenya with IUIC? Okay, they were giving them signs that they were going to do something. Okay, they told them to get up out of there, especially being in a place you're not really supposed to be in. Okay, necessarily, I mean, the Lord will, draw you to certain places, whatever, but they told you got to move around from where you're at. Remember in IUIC? And then what happened? They were getting stones threw at them, fucking, whatever you call that, smoke grenade, whatever you're going to call those things. But, to get them out of there. But IUIC didn't take the warning, you see? So that's exactly what happened. You see, when you're getting threatened and you're supposed to use wisdom, okay, and agree with that adversary, or just apply wisdom and move on, you see? And move on. Not everybody has to hear that, like I said, cast not thy pearls before swine. See, not everybody's going to understand. See, whether they hear or they forbear. Okay, this is Acts chapter 2 and verse 4. And it says, I'll start at verse 4. It says, for they are imputed children and stiff-hearted. This is all you need to know about Israel. They are imputed children and stiff-hearted, hard-headed, rebellious. You see, I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai power. See, as they, and it says, and they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house. So no matter if they hear or not, you see, they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them. At the end of the day, that's what they're going to find out. Okay, when these times of trouble hit, that a prophet has been among them and gave them warning. You see, so there's no need to argue with them. There's no need. Okay, Revelation 22:11 says, him that is unjust, let him be unjust still. Okay, because that's the times we're in. Okay, like I said before, if they don't want to understand, they don't want to get it, move on. Shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving. Okay, we're not here to force nobody to get it. Now, we do persuade. You see, the scripture says, knowing the terrors of the Lord, we persuade men. Okay, because we know the terrors of the Lord, so we persuade men. Okay, and we're liking on, we're fit. Yahushua said that he will make us fishers of men. And this is exactly what we're doing. We're fishing in the elect. But that bait that's on the end of the pole, when you throw the bait in to get the fish, like the little worm. See, that's that persuasion that we come with. Okay, because we know the terrors of the Lord. But we're not going to force nobody to understand. We're not going to force nobody to get it because we were not told to do that. That's actually wasting time doing that. You're getting nowhere doing that. You're going to stir up arguments. You're going to stir up a lot of things that could be avoided. You know it. So Revelation 22:11, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. So if they don't want to understand, they don't want to take heed to what the scriptures is saying, move on for them, because the Lord's going to have mercy, whom he will have mercy on. So Lord willing, this was edifying. Before I close off, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Rachakodash, double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, to Ruel and Tetro, and taught us his truth. Peace and salutation as always to the elect. Shalom.